Welcome to the General English class for Stunts English Homeroom.
Hi everyone, this is Dan at Stunts English Homeroom, Stunts Eigo Kyoshitsu in Kamogawa, Japan. And this is a video podcast focusing on speaking, pronunciation, and listening, and practicing questions and answers that you can find in your textbook, American English File, 2nd edition 2. And in this video podcast, we're going to go over Unit 5A, No Time for Anything. So the key question is, we are living faster, but are we living better? And in this unit, we're talking about comparative adjectives and adverbs. So 比較級の形容詞 right? と副詞ですね. So comparing, okay? And some time expressions, how we spend time, 時間過ごすこと right? Or waste time, 時間無駄する right? 無駄にする. And are we in a hurry? Are we busy? And we have a few comparative adjectives. So in your book, in the grammar sections, they have some words here. Quickly, right? So 急いでやる right? 急いで right? Fast, right? 早く right? Busy, right? Busy, 忙しいですね. Patient, 我慢する Or you could almost say 遠慮する right? Bad, of course, bad, 悪い Slowly, ゆっくり right? ゆっくりします right? Stressed, right? ストレスだっていうストレス溜まったっていう right? And the comparative forms. So we have more quickly, faster, busier, more patient, worse, more slowly, more stressed, right? Or as stressed, as fast, as busy. So 同じようにっていうことですね. You're comparing, but the same thing. So when we have as, so I'm as busy as John. So John and I are the same kind of busy. Okay? 同じように忙しいですね. Alright. Let's start with the questionnaire on the first page of the unit, 36. And I'd like you to listen and repeat after me. So listen and repeat. Practice speaking. And this is from the questionnaire on page 36. And there are 6 questions. Okay? Listen. Okay? Do people tell you that you talk too quickly? Do people tell you that you talk too quickly? Do you get impatient when other people are talking? Do you get impatient when other people are talking? Okay, number 3. Are you the first person to finish a meal? Or at meal times? Are you the first person to finish at meal times? Do you eat quickly? Number 4. When you are walking along a street, do you feel frustrated when you are behind people who are walking more slowly? One more time. When you are walking along a street, do you feel frustrated when you're behind people who are walking more slowly? I kind of do. I feel that way. I feel frustrated, kind of ムカついてる. Kind of like, "Arr, walk faster." Right? Okay, number 5. Do you get irritable if you sit for an hour without doing anything? For example, waiting for the doctor. Okay. Do you get irritable if you sit for an hour without doing anything? E.g., waiting for the doctor. Okay. Number 6, the last one. Do you walk out of stores and restaurants if there is a line? Do you walk out of stores and restaurants if there is a line? Okay, so these questions are kind of agree or disagree. Do you agree with these questions? Okay, go back, listen, practice speaking, repeat, and think of your answer. Yes? No? Okay, agree or disagree. Okay, let's move on to pronunciation. Okay, so in this unit, they're talking about sentence stress. Okay, and stress is kind of like kyocho stress. How much stress you put on it. Soft stress or a lot of stress. Okay, so 1 through 5, please listen, okay, and repeat. I'm busier than a year ago. I'm busier than a year ago. Okay, どういう意味ですね。私は、1年前よりも忙しいんです。So we have a than, right? So that's 比較級, right? Comparatives. Okay, so I'm busier than a year ago. Number 2. My life is more stressful than in the past. My life is more stressful than in the past. Okay, number 3. I work harder than before. I work harder than before. Number 4. I walk and talk faster. I walk and talk faster. Okay, number 5. I'm not as relaxed as I was a few years ago. I'm not as relaxed as I was a few years ago. Okay, so try to listen and repeat these sentences and copy the rhythm, and try to get the sound, the unstressed sound, right. Okay, so busier than a year ago, right? More stressful than in the past, right? Harder than before, right? Walk and talk faster, so it's, right? Not as relaxed as, I was a few years ago. Right? All right. Let's move on to speaking. Okay, this is section 4 in your textbook. In this one, you are to think about your life and how your life has changed over the last 3, 4, 5 years. Okay, so it's now 2015. So how has life changed since, say, 2010? Okay, 5 years ago. Read the questions and think about your answers. Okay, so there are 3 questions. Okay, question number 1. Do you spend more or less time on these things? Okay. Do you spend more or less time on working or studying? Do you spend more or less time on sleeping? Do you spend more or less time on getting to work or getting to school? Do you spend more or less time cooking? Do you spend more or less time sitting in traffic? はい、交通渋滞 right? そのまま待って座って right? Do you spend more or less time shopping? Do you spend more or less time talking to friends? Do you spend more or less time eating? Do you spend more or less time meeting friends? Do you spend more or less time using your phone? Do you spend more or less time being online on the internet? Do you spend more or less using your computer? Okay. Question number 2, do you have more or less free time? Do you have more or less free time? Why? And number 3, what don't you have time for nowadays? What don't you have time for nowadays? What would you like to have more time for? What would you like to have more time for? Okay. So these are 3 questions, okay, to answer. So 答えるのに、比較級のその形容詞、副詞、使ってみましょう。Okay? So try to use the comparative adjectives and adverbs. Okay, so question number 1, for example, do you spend more or less time on using your phone? Yes, I do. I use my phone more than before because I can check email, I can check Facebook, I can search on the internet. It's very easy. It's easier now, more easier than before, right? So yes, I'm spending more time on using my phone. Number 2, do you have more or less free time than 5 years ago? A little bit more. I have a very flexible schedule, but I have a little more free time, more flexible time than 5 years ago when I was working full-time and every day and very set schedule. But now I have a little more free time, more flexible free time. Number 3, what don't you have time for nowadays? Nowadays, I don't have much time for exercising. I want, and second question, what would you like to have more time for? I would like to have more time for exercising and running or biking and just going outdoors, maybe going camping, things like that. Okay, so I would like you to think about these questions. I'd like you to go back, listen, practice speaking, and answer the question. Think about the question, are we living faster? Are we living better? Okay. Do we need to slow down? Or should we do something else? What should we do? Think about those questions for next class and for the next couple of classes for this unit. All right. See you next time on this video podcast, and good luck practicing English, and have a good week. Bye!